It seems that every Anthem video you look at, you will often see every other person come over to voice their opinions about the game. Most of it is to say how trash the game is. While I cannot blame most of them for feeling that way, I think we should also address some of the valid points that they have. Because if you are spending $60 on a game, then these things had to be addressed, even though I felt like some of their comments on every video is like preaching to the choir. So let's talk about it. The first one is the usual Warframe 2, Destiny, oh it looks like Warframe, Warframe is better, a reskinned Warframe. Well, in terms of being a looter shooter, every other game out there are alike, to be honest, because they use a similar formula. But if anything, Anthem is more like The Division in terms of loot. It's like Borderlands in terms of customization, and in terms of lore, it's still a bioware game. And while it can be said that the old bioware is gone, because that is the favorite line that everyone always uses. Yes, the old bioware is gone, but the old assets still belong to the studio. This means that these things can inspire the new generation of game makers and developers. And if you must go there, BioWare inspired some of the games and the free-to-play titles that you see right now, not the other way around. Now, in terms of gameplay, you hear the phrases, the game is slow, it is boring. And the first thing I often ask is, what are we comparing it to? Because if we're saying something is slow and boring, we have to, say, you know what, it should have been like this, or it should have been like that. Every game will not be as fast-paced as Warframe, because Warframe is a ninja game, a ninja in space game. And every game will not be as secluded or specially curated like Destiny or The Division, because these are different games in their own zone. It's a different game for those who like a different type of approach. Some people will say golf is boring, but for me as a person, I actually enjoy watching golf. Golf is actually intense. It is exciting. And the same people who say golf is boring can tell you that football is exciting or tennis is exciting. So it is one of those things where you have to look at it and say, you know what, that is your own preference. Now, there is also another question of, if you can't play Anthem online, it's going to be a pass for me. Then my answer to that is going to be, of all the online games that you play in this day and age, which one of them can be played offline? Because let's be real here, Anthem is an online game, just like every other looter shooter out there. You cannot play Destiny 2 offline. You cannot play Warframe offline. You cannot play The Division offline. Maybe some things in the earlier days if you use a different patch or something, but you cannot play it offline. You cannot play Fortnite Battle Royale mode offline. You cannot play a lot of these games offline. So why is it such a big deal when you have Anthem as a game that cannot be played offline? Like, what are people really expecting from this? And I know that it is because it is a $60 title game, so they're expecting it to be a different game instead of a typical looter shooter. So that is very important. But still, the argument is, which other game out there that is a looter shooter can be played offline? Why is this game still in alpha? That is also one of the great questions that I see a lot of people ask. The answer to that question is that a lot of the footage that you've been seeing lately were captured several months ago, but it wasn't allowed to be revealed due to NDA in case they change something. So that is why all of this footage that you see are alphas. And I'm sure some people are wondering that because the game is releasing very soon, so they're wondering why is it still in alpha. But just to clarify, those footage were recorded several weeks or months ago. Now, some say that the game doesn't have depth. To answer that question, I will link a video by Tony Mo. He did a really good job explaining that. He has a great breakdown of what people need to look at in terms of depth versus fun. However, I still think some of these people also don't care about the perspectives. They just came to bash the game. Now, to be honest, I often wondered why people feel the need to come under every Destiny video or to say Warframe is better under every Anthem video. That is just one of those things that I've been seeing over the past 12 months. I wouldn't like to point out the toxicity here, but we have to ask this question. Why are people always under every Anthem's video to talk about Warframe or any other game? Is it because Anthem isn't a free-to-play game? Because I don't see the Division or Monster Hunter players bombarding everyone's video to say that their games are better. It is because a lot of those players in that community understand that they are in a different lane, that every game has its own uniqueness. But why are people doing this when it comes to Anthem or when it comes to Destiny? It is just something that is quite crazy. Now, I know that in certain countries where the dollar equals to maybe 200 or 300, or with individuals who cannot afford some of these games, it is important to have a game that is free. And that's why I'm glad that we have wonderful games like Warframe. That is a great free-to-play game, or games like Path of Exile. That is a great free-to-play game. But if Anthem is a free-to-play game, will people have the same sentiments? And I think the answer is going to be no. Because if Anthem retains everything and the developer studio's name just changed all of a sudden to Digital Extremes or some other studio, those critical perspectives will be gone. Believe me, a lot of those people will not even be there. They will be praising Anthem like it is God's greatest gift to mankind. I also think that most people hate the fact that they like what they see in Anthem, but will hide their feelings under the disguise of, I hate it because it is a game being published by EA. Now, from what I have played so far, Anthem is far more polished than a lot of games. It is much cleaner than some of the games that has been in development for 5 years or 6 years. The only skepticism that I agree with is the fear of post-launch monetization, but the developers already made their statement about that. So, as far as the rest is concerned, I think people are just looking for a reason, and they will stop if you say, hey, you know what, the game is free. For me, I would rather pay for something that I can really criticize without hearing the "it's free" comments. Anyways, that's going to be it from me. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. It's DS signing out. I'll see you in the next one.